Imagine this for a moment. You stand barefoot on the floor, lift one foot, and count silently to 10. Not a marathon, not a heavy lift, just 10 quiet seconds. And yet, for many people after 50, this simple test becomes a mirror, not of strength, but of time. Of how the nervous system, muscles, joints, and inner ear are negotiating with gravity. Failing the 10-second balance test isn't a personal failure, it's a biological message. It's the body gently saying that coordination is fading faster than force, and that survival after 50 depends less on how much weight you can move and more on how well your systems communicate. Balance is not a single skill. It is a conversation between the brain, the eyes, the inner ear, the feet, and the deep muscles that wrap around the hips and spine. With age, this conversation becomes quieter. Nerve signals slow. Fast-twitch muscle fibers shrink. Proprioceptors, the tiny sensors that tell your brain where you are in space, lose their sharpness. That is why walking alone often isn't enough. It moves you forward, but it doesn't challenge the system that keeps you upright when life pushes you sideways or backward. What restores balance is not intensity, but precision. Not exhaustion, but awareness. Stand tall and begin by setting the environment, because balance training starts before the movement itself. Choose a firm, flat surface and remove shoes so the sensory receptors on the soles of your feet can speak clearly to your brain. Place your feet hip-width apart, lengthen the spine as if a gentle thread is lifting the crown of your head, and let the shoulders soften. Before lifting a foot, take one slow breath and allow your weight to distribute evenly across the standing leg, heel, outer edge, inner edge, and toes. This grounding is not ritual, it is neurological preparation. Now slowly lift one foot just a few centimeters off the floor. A professional trainer never asks for height first, stability always comes before range. Keep the knee of the standing leg slightly bent, never locked. This small bend activates the quadriceps and gluteal muscles while protecting the joint. Fix your gaze on a stable point straight ahead. The eyes are part of balance, and anchoring them reduces unnecessary noise in the nervous system during the early stages. At first, simply hold. 10 seconds may feel long, and that is exactly the point. Inside the body, hundreds of micro-adjustments are occurring. The ankle makes tiny corrections, the hip stabilizers fire reflexively, and the brain recalibrates where center truly is. If the foot touches down, that is not failure, it is feedback. Reset calmly and try again. Professionals train balance in repetitions, not ego. Once the hold becomes steady, progression begins through controlled instability. Slowly turn the head to the right, then back to center, then to the left. This challenges the vestibular system in the inner ear, forcing the brain to integrate balance without relying solely on vision. Next, extend one arm forward or to the side, as if reaching for an object. This shifts your center of mass and teaches the body to adapt without panic. The movement should be slow enough that you could stop at any point. Speed comes later, control comes first. Breathing remains calm throughout. Holding the breath increases rigidity, and rigidity is the enemy of balance. Encourage a relaxed inhale through the nose and a long exhale, which signals safety to the nervous system. Over time, close the eyes for 1 or 2 seconds, then reopen them. This removes visual input and dramatically increases proprioceptive demand. A professional trainer introduces this only when the foundation is solid, because the goal is adaptation, not fear. Train both sides equally, even if one side feels weaker or less cooperative. Asymmetry is common after 50, and correcting it reduces fall risk more than building raw strength. Perform 2 to 3 sets per side, resting briefly between attempts. Quality always outweighs duration. What this exercise truly trains is trust between the brain and the body. You are teaching your nervous system that it can sense, adjust, and recover. Over weeks, this quiet practice sharpens reflexes, strengthens deep stabilizers, and restores confidence in standing on your own 2 feet, even when one of them is off the ground. Begin by standing tall with your feet hip-width apart, as if you were preparing to walk forward, even though your intention will be the opposite. A professional trainer emphasizes intention because backward movement feels unfamiliar to the nervous system, and unfamiliarity demands awareness. So before stepping, lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders, and let your arms hang naturally at your sides. Take a calm breath in through the nose and allow the body to feel balanced before anything moves. Shift your weight slowly onto one leg. This shift is deliberate, not rushed. You should feel pressure spreading across the whole foot, heel, midfoot, and toes, rather than collapsing into the arch or gripping with the toes. The standing knee remains slightly bent, never locked. This activates the glutes and protects the joint while preparing the body for controlled motion. Now step the opposite foot backward, placing the toes on the ground first, then gently lowering the heel. A professional trainer avoids large steps in the beginning. The stride is short and precise. As the foot lands, maintain an upright torso. Leaning forward reduces the balance challenge and shifts stress to the knees. Instead, imagine your ribcage stacked over your pelvis, allowing the hips to do the work. Bend both knees slowly, lowering the body into a shallow backward lunge. The front knee tracks in line with the toes, never collapsing inward. The back knee descends comfortably without slamming toward the floor. This slow descent is critical. It trains eccentric muscle control, the kind that prevents falls when you misstep in real life. Throughout the movement, keep the chest open and the neck long, with the gaze forward rather than down. Pause briefly at the lowest point. This pause is not about strength, it is about neurological clarity. The body learns where it is in space, and the stabilizing muscles around the hips and core fire automatically to hold you steady. From here, press gently through the front heel and midfoot to return to standing. The movement upward should feel smooth and quiet, not explosive. Noise often signals loss of control. Once standing, take a moment before switching sides. Rushing removes the benefit. Over time, you can add progressions, slower tempo, longer pauses, or gentle arm movements to shift the center of gravity. Advanced variations may include stepping backward in a straight line, as if walking in reverse, which further challenges coordination and proprioception. Breathing remains slow and continuous. Exhaling as you lower encourages relaxation and better muscle engagement. If balance wavers, shorten the step or reduce depth. Professionals modify range, not posture. Perform 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 10 controlled repetitions per side, prioritizing precision over fatigue. This exercise retrains the posterior chain, glutes, hamstrings, calves, while awakening the sensory systems that protect you from backward falls, which are among the most dangerous as we age. More than an exercise, backward stepping is a neurological rehearsal. Each careful repetition teaches the brain that it can adapt, recover, and remain upright even when life moves you in an unexpected direction. Begin with the chair itself, because a professional trainer knows that setup determines success. Choose a stable chair that does not roll or slide, ideally with a seat height close to the level of your knees. Place it on a firm surface. Stand in front of the chair, then slowly sit down and stand back up once to feel the height and confirm stability. Only then does the real work begin. Position your feet about hip-width apart, with the toes pointing slightly outward in a natural stance. Step close enough to the chair so the backs of your legs lightly touch the seat. This reference point helps with consistency and balance. Lengthen your spine, lift the chest gently, and allow the shoulders to relax down and back. Before moving, take a calm breath and feel your weight evenly distributed across both feet. To begin the descent, hinge at the hips first, not the knees. Imagine sending the hips slightly backward, as if you were reaching for the chair behind you rather than dropping straight down. This hip hinge loads the glute muscles and protects the knees. The knees then bend naturally, tracking in line with the toes. Throughout the movement, keep the chest open and the gaze forward. Looking down often leads to rounding the spine and losing balance. Lower yourself slowly, aiming for a silent landing on the chair. Silence is feedback, it means control. The slower you descend, the more the muscles and nervous system must coordinate. If your body wants to fall the last few centimeters, reduce the range or slow the tempo even more. A professional trainer always prioritizes control over depth. Once seated, pause for a brief moment without collapsing. Stay tall, with the spine long and the feet planted firmly. To stand back up, exhale gently and press through the heels and midfoot. Imagine the floor moving away from you rather than you pushing against it. Engage the glutes as you rise, keeping the knees aligned and avoiding any inward collapse. The arms remain crossed over the chest or hanging relaxed at the sides, using the hands as avoided unless absolutely necessary. The ascent should be smooth and continuous, not jerky. If momentum takes over, slow down. Momentum bypasses the very muscles and neural pathways this exercise is meant to strengthen. At the top, stand fully upright without locking the knees. Take a breath, reset, and repeat. As strength and confidence improve, progressions can be introduced. Lower the chair height slightly, increase the time of the descent, or add a brief pause just above the seat before sitting. These variations challenge balance, coordination, and muscular endurance simultaneously. Advanced control can include closing the eyes for a second at the top or bottom, but only when stability is already strong. Perform 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 slow repetitions, resting briefly between sets. Train both patience and precision. This movement strengthens the legs, reinforces balance during transitions, and rebuilds confidence in everyday actions. Standing up and sitting down are not simple tasks. They are rehearsals for independence, performed dozens of times a day. When trained with intention, they become one of the most powerful tools for staying capable, steady, and self-reliant after 50.